When the lights finally dimmed on Dancing with the Stars season 34 and the confetti settled, one moment mattered more to Robert Irwin than the trophy in his hands. It was not the applause, the cameras, or the standing ovation. It was the quiet pull of home. For weeks, Robert Irwin had stepped onto a dance floor far away from Australia, far away from the place that shaped him. Every rehearsal, every performance, every emotional breakthrough was carried out with discipline, passion, and the weight of expectation. As the son of Steve Irwin, the world has always watched him closely, yet this journey was different. This time, Robert was not following footprints left behind, he was creating his own. Night after night, audiences saw his growth not just as a dancer, but as a young man learning to trust himself. His partner, Witney Carson, stood beside him through every challenge. She pushed him when he doubted himself and celebrated him when he succeeded. What began as a professional partnership slowly turned into something deeper, a bond built on respect, encouragement, and shared determination. Winning season 34 was a powerful moment. The cheers were loud, the smiles wide, but inside Robert, there was a quiet longing. Success feels different when you cannot immediately share it with the people who know your heart best. For Robert, that place was always Australia Zoo. The khaki, the animals, the land, his family, and the legacy of love his parents built together. And then came the reunion. On January 13th, a simple Instagram video captured something far more meaningful than any televised finale. Witney Carson had returned to Australia, not alone, but with her family. Her husband, Carson McAllister, and their two young sons, Leo and Jet, stood proudly beside her. All four of them wore matching Australia Zoo khaki shirts. It was more than an outfit choice. It was a symbol of unity, belonging, and respect for the world Robert comes from. As the camera rolled, laughter filled the air. The boys looked curious, excited, unaware that they were part of a moment touching millions of hearts. And then, quietly, almost gently, Robert stepped into the frame. Dressed in his signature uniform, he did not need to say a word. His smile said everything. This was not a dramatic reunion filled with tears and speeches. It was soft, genuine, and real, the kind of moment that reminds us why human connection matters more than fame. Witney captioned the video with simple words, "We are back, Team Irwin it reunited." Yet behind that sentence lived weeks of effort, sacrifice, and shared joy. For Witney, this reunion carried its own emotional weight. She had just completed an intense season, balancing motherhood, marriage, and a demanding dance schedule. To bring her family to Robert's world showed how deeply she valued the journey they shared. It was her way of saying, this experience mattered, this partnership mattered. For Robert, it was a moment of grounding. After weeks in a high-pressure environment, he was finally standing on familiar soil, surrounded by people who felt like home. Watching Witney's children run around Australia Zoo, laughing and exploring, was a reminder that life continues beautifully beyond competition. What made this reunion so powerful was its authenticity. There was no performance, no script, no expectation, just people reconnecting after a shared chapter. In a world filled with headlines and highlight reels, this moment stood out because it was quiet. Robert Irwin has always spoken about legacy not as something you inherit, but something you live. His father taught the world about wildlife conservation, but also about kindness, enthusiasm, and love. In that short video, those values were alive: the warmth, the respect, the joy of togetherness. Fans responded instantly. Comments poured in from around the world. People did not just see a dancer and his partner, they saw friendship, family, and mutual admiration. Many wrote that the video made them smile. Others said it reminded them of the importance of home. And that is what made this reunion unforgettable. Winning a trophy is an achievement. Coming home to people who celebrate you without conditions is a blessing. Robert Irwin experienced both, but it was the second that truly filled his heart. As cameras move on and new seasons begin, this moment will remain, not because it was flashy, but because it was human. It showed that behind every public figure is a person who longs for connection, just like the rest of us. Team Irwin It was never just about dancing. It was about trust, growth, and shared humanity. And in that quiet reunion at Australia Zoo, the journey came full circle. Sometimes the most powerful endings are not on stage. They are at home, surrounded by love.